And we are live. What's good, Charles? Man, DLC. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling out there? How y'all feeling? Just wanted to make sure everything's good. Oh man. Yeah, guys. What? Woke up this morning like everybody else. I woke up early, had a whole day planned out, had stuff I had to get done. Got a lot of that stuff done, and all I'm gonna say is this: if we're going to invade a country and kidnap the president and first lady of said country, can they at least coordinate with me first so we can do it on a day I ain't doing nothing? I missed everything. I was tied up. I had no, I had no nothing, bro. I had like no Wi-Fi where I was doing what I was doing. I was just like trying to upload stuff, couldn't. It's like, come on, man, yo, America. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Trump administration, work with a brother. Let me know next time. Give me a heads up. They could have run it by me first. I'm like, nah, don't do it until Monday morning. I'm free. Monday going into the week is slow news cycle. Hold on. Don't do it Saturday morning. What are y'all thinking? But yeah, looks like we use the military to arrest a man who's not a citizen. He's a head of a country, and his wife kidnapped him, brought him to America so they can go stand trial for some stuff, I guess. Yo, let's get into this. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed. Yeah, bro. Definitely need a new setup. We got a new setup going on. Um, it is what it is. Shout out to you, brother. Dinosaur, appreciate you, man. We got Mandrell in the house as well, man. And Mandrell, bro, can't wait to hear your comments, man. I'm pretty sure you got something to say about all this. On the Spot Live is in the building. What's good, sis? What's good, sis? Good to see you. I want to talk to you about real estate one of these days. I want to talk to you about the market. I hope the market is still thriving in Illinois and Chicago where you are. Hey guys, if you are looking for property and you are in the Chicago area, I need to holler at this sister right here on the Spot Live, man. She hook it up. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. This is crazy. Shout out to everyone out there. Before we get started, y'all know the deal. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Happy New Year. This is the first show live of the year. So happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody had a really good holiday break. Hope your Christmas and all that was good. Your Kwanzaa, your Hanukkah, your whatever it is you celebrating this time of year. I hope it went well. So yeah, I'm tripping, bro. I knew something was gonna happen in Venezuela. We all did. And here it is. I don't know. It is what it is, bro. You know, uh I mean, brother Pitt in the building. What's good? What's good? Bro, celebration in the streets. I mean, why? I guess the people who ran from Venezuela who had a problem with Maduro and Chavez before him and didn't want to fight for their country, they chose to run here or run somewhere else. I guess they're celebrating, but why? I get it. Like, oh, yay, we get our country back. Yay, thank you, America. And we're going to go back to our country. But why does America have to put American lives on the line? I don't get it. And y'all know I'm an airborne dude. I'm a paratrooper, bro. I'm a war hawk. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Mandrill did tell me. And I wasn't arguing with him like it's going to happen. I just didn't know when. I didn't see this coming. Like, what sense does it make to go into a country, snatch the head of the country, snatch the president? It's not like, he's a king. Like, there's a government there. Like, the vice president is not president, until they figure out what's going on. I think they sent a strongly worded email to America, like, give us our president back. Um, the military is still there. The people are still there. This thing right here, this thing boils down to, the people of Venezuela who are there, not the Venezuelans who are here or in London, like, or, like in UK or wherever they are, Australia, wherever they were, where they ran to, not them, the people who are still there. What are they going to do? Right. Because there's also a whole lot of talk going on right now, man. Like, okay, what's going to happen? Who's going to run it? What, all this stuff, American companies are licking their chops like, oh, they see an opportunity to make billions. Make no mistake about it, man. It's going to be trillions of dollars made, just kind of profiteering off this country. And the average American, you and I, just regular old folks, the dudes who went and kicked those doors down, the pilots, the airmen, the door gunners, the trigger pullers, like the Delta guys who went in there, the Rangers that were involved. I guarantee you the Rangers were involved in this one. This is the type of mission that they live for. This is the 75th Ranger Regiment. They did some work down there. I guarantee it. Right? You had the Delta guys down there, maybe some Green Berets, maybe some SEALs. I don't even know what they call the recon Marines anymore, MARSOC or whatever, the Raiders. I don't know what they're calling them now, but they were probably involved in this. None of those people, none of the boots on the ground, none of the people in charge, none of the people wearing uniforms are going to get $1 out of this, yo. Not a single buck. Not a single, nothing. And they're saying that there were no American casualties, well, no KIAs. There were some injuries that they say. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. I mean, if there were a couple, like if we lost a couple dudes in this, I don't believe that the government would tell us that. You would have to wait till way, way later until that comes up. Casual Germs in the building was good. Bro, like this was so much for someone like Maduro, bro. It doesn't, none of this adds up. As far as the drug trade, bro, Venezuela got nothing to do with what's going on with the fentanyl, that kind of stuff. That's coming out of Mexico via China. That's the cartels in the CCP. Like, you want to go, like, we snatched him up because he's a bad guy. And then the charges, they're charging him with conspiracy to traffic and all this conspiracy, which is like, they know the dude ain't got no dope. They know it. They're like, oh, he thought about it. He planned it with some people. Planned it with who? He planned it with himself. Him and his wife talked about it before bed. That's why we arrested them both. This is horrific, man. This is, bro. But you're right about that, Casual General. All of them dudes wanted a piece of this. And this mission, I mean, as far as missions go, I mean, bro, this was top notch, bro. This is top notch. Like, even if, like, they say there were no KIAs, even if there's like one or maybe two or something like that, less than 5, that would be extraordinary for this type of mission, because they had to hit multiple locations at the same time, bro. This was a big mission, man. You snatching the head of state, you going into a country that has an army, like, bro. This was wow. As far from a military standpoint, and I will never be mad at our soldiers for following orders, and like it or not, this would be a legal order. The military was working in cooperation with the Justice Department. Their hands were tied. They had to do it. They got it done. And it looks like they got it done without getting anybody killed, which is outstanding. Anytime you go on any type of training, just training, bro. I told y'all, when I was at Fort Bragg back in the early 90s, right? If we could go 82 days without somebody getting themselves deleted, like from a jump or some sort of training mission or whatever, if we could do 82 days without someone getting deleted, we would get like a holiday, like a free day off, right? So that was peacetime. That was after Desert Storm or whatever, but pretty much, kind of what America considers peace. And bro, to pull this off and not have any KIAs, if that's true, outstanding work. Outstanding work, bro. Um, and I think they were talking about Mandela is saying that was Delta Force that got him. Yeah, but Mandela, I was thinking about that too, bro. I don't know how big Delta is now. No one, first of all, Delta doesn't exist, so I guess they could be as big as they want to be. But it's just the same way that they did Noriega in Panama. That was Delta that did that. Delta got Noriega. No, yeah, Delta got Noriega, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong out there, guys. Delta Force got Noriega, and Delta Force got an American citizen out of a Panamanian jail, and they did at the same time. But to go after the president, to go after Maduro, they had to hit at least 3 locations because you're not quite sure where he is, and you're getting your intel from the CIA, bro. So just that right there. I'm just saying, a little shaky on that front. You know what I mean? Like it ain't like the CIA ever gets it wrong. Like it ain't like the CIA ever gives you bad intel. That never happens. And I found out what they call the Space Force people, bro. The Space Force guys, they're guardians. So you got airmen, you got sailors, you got soldiers, you got Marines, and you got guardians. So somebody check my math on that. I was listening to say they were thinking guardians. I'm like, who the hell? That must be Space Force. Because Hedgecliffe came on TV was talking about they use everybody. What are you using Space Force for on this mission? Like, what are we checking? Like in space before we invade Venezuela? And make no mistake about it, guys, we invaded. Let me just highlight everything and make sure I show everybody everything, man. This is crazy. The new president, yeah, there's supposed to be a female. The woman, I don't even know her name. Like the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize, she's supposed to be in line. She's going to be installed as the president. But again, it depends on the people of Venezuela. Are they going to let that happen? And when will they get free elections? And when they do get free elections, what happens if they vote for another strongman? What happens? We're going to go down. We're just going to keep snatching up their elected officials until we get one that we like. This is terrible, bro. This is crazy. You know what I mean? Bro, his protection, I mean, and since the U.S. Army, the U.S. military is really good at certain things. They've gotten really good at seeking people out and snatching them up. They found Saddam Hussein hiding in a hole somewhere in Saudi Arabia. You can find somebody who's in a hole. I mean, you can pretty much find anybody. They can, tech today, man, you can track anybody. They know where Xi Jinping is at all times. I guarantee you they know where Vladimir Putin is at all time. Rocket Man over in, Kim Jong-il over there in North Korea. They know like the whoever the president is of Iran, any nation that they're watching, any powerful person or head of state, they know where they are. And if they don't know exactly where they are, they can narrow it down to about 3 to 5 locations. Like they're one of these. And they, you talking about the United States of America, like, we'll just hit them all. So that's crazy. Over 150 aircraft involved. I can believe that. They had to shut down the airspace. They had to, they had to make sure that the Venezuelan Air Force didn't get airborne. They had to, there's soldiers, there's Venezuelan soldiers, there's, I'm sure, Venezuelan Marines, they got naval assets. Bro, this was crazy. That the Venezuelans didn't even see it coming. Crazy. And Mandrill, you guys know that Mandrill is a former Green Beret. It's like, this is the power of America. A very small team kidnapped the president of a country and got away with it. No casualties whatsoever. They said a couple of people got hurt, but yeah, no real casualties. They used 100 Delta. We'll never know how many Delta guys were involved. Because remember, Delta Force doesn't exist. Like there is no Delta Force. And while I got a minute, man, yeah, new background. Yeah, got the frame tightened up a little bit. Got my Anunnaki Egyptian guy back here. Got my Trojan helmet. Hey, Rich Cooper's book. Right here is where I'm going to highlight books that I really like. So Rich Cooper's book is there. This book is going to go here next time we go live. This is my homeboy BG's book. This is a really good book, y'all. Tell your story so they don't F it up. This brother, Brian Gordon, you can get this on Amazon, guys. Like, do me a favor. If you got a couple dollars, go to Amazon and just type in the title. Just type in the title, tell your story so they don't FUCK it up. Like, go ahead. I'm trying to keep it YouTube friendly. Yo, support this brother. He self-published this book. You might see a typo or two in there, but the story of this brother, this is just a regular guy who figured it out and, man, really got himself together. And he's a business owner now. He's a pillar of the community, man, like a solid dude. He sells cigars. For those of you who smoke cigars, let me know. Second Amendment cigars. He owns a gun range in the company. He does like security and all this kind of stuff. Yo, one more time. As a matter of fact, let's do this. We're gonna switch these around for this episode. Because I'm a big fan of Unplugged Alpha. I'm a big fan of Rich Cooper, but go get my man Brian Gordon's book right there, man. I don't even want to tell you about the story, but when this brother joined the Marine Corps, some things happened in the Marine Corps. What he faced in the Marine Corps, he talks about it in the book. Go get this book, guys. It's on Amazon. Might be like $20 or something like that. I forget how much it costs, but go get this book. And it has a companion journal that comes along with it. So anyway, just go get the book. That's a non-paid sponsorship from my homie BG. If you're watching, I'm gonna clip this and send it to you, homie. But we getting into it, man. We got Dusto in the building. Was hiding. He's like, S2 still gets hate. Yeah, they do, man. Like, hey, S2 does their thing, but yeah, they still get hate, man. 100 play. We won't. I don't think they're really gonna give with this particular mission. I don't think they're ever gonna give like complete details on what happened. It'll probably be a good 5-10 years before we get that. And the reason why is they made a thinly veiled threat. Like, we don't want, they said this on one of the news interviews I was listening to. I think it was, I don't know if they had a general speaker. I don't know if he's I don't know his rank, but he's on his press conference. I don't think he was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I don't think he was, but in his during his press conference, he said, we're not going to give out too many details because we don't want to give away too many operational secrets because we might do this again or worse to that effect. He basically threatened the whole world. Like, I ain't gonna tell y'all too much of how we did this because we might be coming to your neighborhood. You know what I mean? You want to talk about gangster. Like, yo, we might, hey, we gonna give you some, there's 150 planes, maybe it was 100 planes, it was like 1,000 Delta Force guys. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna tell you exactly because we might be coming to see you. Gangster. That is crazy. And the U.S. is definitely the king of logistics, bro. We make some crazy moves, man. Crazy moves. And bro, man, what's that? Maria Corina Machado is, man, Drill. I know I'm way behind on the chats, guys. My bad. I'm behind on the chats. I'm trying to catch up, but is that the woman that won the Nobel Peace Prize that America flew out? We extracted her from Venezuela about a month ago or so, something like that, a couple months ago. Is that the one? Is that who is going to be president now? Because if that's the case, someone needs to tell the Venezuelans. You know what I mean? Someone needs to tell the Venezuelans. The OG King Life was good, fam. Shout out to you. He's like, yeah, his own security might have, man. It was $50 million on his head, bro. It was $50 million reward for Maduro. I mean, bro, if you were like one of his henchmen down there, it's like, yo, America, I'll help y'all out for a little bit of that 50 million. So yeah, bro. Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Yeah, man. Trump is high on that. He high on aspirin right now, bro. Y'all hear how much aspirin he takes a day, man? Like that dude. I mean, yo, nah, bro. Like, Trump is just doing his Trump thing, bro. He doesn't even know like what's going on. He just waits until they do it, and then he'll take credit. But if it had this thing had gone tits up, bro, if this thing had gone sideways, he'd have been blaming everybody. This is all Marco Rubio, guys. This is all Marco Rubio. Don't get it twisted. This is all Marco Rubio. And he's already getting big. He's feeling himself, man. Already talking about Cuba might be next. Now, I tell you what, the Venezuelans are like, yes, in America, the Venezuelans, the ones who ran away, the ones who didn't want to stay and fight, the ones who didn't want to depose the dictator themselves, they're real happy. And, I know a lot of Cubans, and the Cubans are talking. And they're like, why did they get rid of Maduro? Why didn't they take care of business in Cuba? You know what I'm saying? They still, the Cubans are still mad for the Bay of Pigs, bro. They ain't forgot that. They still mad. Even the young kids be talking about the Bay of Pigs. Like, bro, your mama wasn't even born during the Bay of Pigs. So, pero, I know about it. Okay, so they still mad about the Bay of Pigs. The Cubans still want Cuba back. So, we'll see. We'll see. The real reason is money. I think the real reason that we did this thing is basically money. I think that was the main motivation there. But there are a lot of people in Donald Trump's ear who wanted to remove Nicolas Maduro forever. They wanted to remove, Chavez before him. So they've been wanting to get dude out the way. The problem is dude ain't really doing nothing. Like, as far as dictators go, he was pretty, calm. The only people he was terrorizing was his own people, was Venezuelans. So there's so many reasons out there. Says one of the reasons is, the oil sanctions, and they're saying that, the drug thing, like he's a head of a drug cartel and they're sending drugs to America, killing Americans, which is not true. Then there was, there was talk about what was another reason? There was some other reason. Man, Drill and guys in the chat help me out, but they gave a whole lot of reasons. The big ones, like this conspiracy, supporting the Russians and selling, oil that was under embargo or whatever. He's not supposed to sell. So they were like smuggling oil out. That was another reason. But I think the big reason is Maduro didn't kiss Donald Trump's ring soon enough. And Marco Rubio was in his ear, or all those, the Latinos that want to remove, factions from, Cuba and, Central and South America, let's just say. And, Maduro should have, dropped about $20 million into Trump coin, and he would still be president down there, which he still is. He's still president of Venezuela. That government is still there. That government is still there. It is what it is. Guys, like nice. That nice look at the airborne background is gone. Bro, I'm getting it framed. It's coming back. It's gonna be right behind me. My airborne picture ain't going nowhere. I just gotta get it framed. I'm gonna put it up there. Better leave my airborne alone, Marine. Why don't you go somewhere and pray? Hold on, I got your prayer right here, bro. Why don't you go somewhere and pray, Marine?
Pray! This is my rifle. But this one is mine.
Yeah, leave me alone. Leave me and my airborne brothers alone. Trump coin is about to bounce back, bro. The rest of the world is about to dump a ton of money into that. Don't come and kidnap us. This is crazy. But on the spot to answer your question, this is all about money. Now that Maduro's out of the way, America could go in there, install whatever government they want. We're gonna watch a little bit of Breaking Points, guys. Crystal jumped on by herself, so we're gonna hear the left side of this. Sager hasn't said anything, but we're gonna listen, and it's kind of, hopefully, I like some of her points, but it's just her point, and she's doing her best to try to keep it balanced. But Crystal is really left, and Sager is right, center right. So let's listen to her. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me share this screen. So this is the second of 2 lives that she did. This is like 20 minutes. We'll watch a little bit of this. Oh, hey, that looks good. We're going to watch a little bit of this, guys. And she's going to talk about reasons and stuff like that. And I'm going to throw my 2 cents in there. I've only heard like 35 seconds of this, and then I stopped it. I'm like, you know what? Listen, I was planning to do a live tonight just later, and I was going to, sip on a little something. And I was going to talk about Myron's prediction with Kai Sinek's girlfriend. We was going to just, talk some red pill stuff. But this invasion popped off. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? The Pentagon didn't check with me to see if my schedule was clear. You know what I mean? They're going to invade on the day, like today and tomorrow. I got stuff going on. They could have held this invasion off until Monday morning. Come on, guys. Can I get just a little bit of respect over here? Just a little bit. So, man, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Casual German saying, I just like how Trump administration kicked out most of the Central and South Americans in the U.S. and then invades one of their countries. Oh, and that facts. But that jolts the memory. Another reason they were saying is we want to stabilize Venezuela so we can send all the Venezuelans back. That's I'm not making that up. Paraphrasing, but I'm not making that up. So it's a kind of crazy situation down there, bro. Kind of crazy. So let's listen to what Crystal has to say, and I'm just going to, give my little 2 cents or whatever. Here we go.
I just finished listening to President Trump's press conference down at Mar-a-Lago describing the bombing and the kidnapping of President of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. And it was so much more insane than I even could have imagined that we had to do another breaking news segment to break down what was said and what was announced in this press conference. The TLDR here is that he announced we, as in the United States of America, are going to be running Venezuela, at least for a time. He did not rule out that time period could be years, did not rule out that could involve direct boots on the ground, additionally threatened other countries to include Cuba and Colombia. Just absolute insanity, talked about the way.
Yo, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that Trump threatened Colombia. I got a new friend of mine who's Colombian, and we were talking about today, and he brought that up, actually. He was like, yo, they should go into Colombia. Like, the president down there is bad, just as bad, worse than Maduro. I'm like, word? I haven't really been paying attention. The passport bros jacked up Colombia. I haven't really, Colombia hasn't been on my radar. But Cuba, I know that they threatened Cuba. Wow, Colombia, he's going to have all of Central and South America, man. You know what I'm saying? He done told them, like, y'all better check yourself. This is casual German, man. You might have been right, man. This is some gangster shit. I hate to say it like that, but damn. Donald Trump's the only president in modern times that would even consider something like this, let alone actually doing it. You could tell the guy doesn't care, man. He's like, whatever. He's going for broke. Bring the big booty Latinos back. Yo, listen, passport bros, get ready. America's going into Venezuela. It all depends on the people of Venezuela. They have to let us in. But if the people of Venezuela are with this and they're like, okay, we want the Americans here, because you're going to have to put boots on the ground. There's no way. It can't be done. You cannot take a country and not put soldiers on the ground. It can't be done. Either your soldiers or their soldiers or the Foreign Legion, somebody's soldiers, but you're going to need boots on the ground to secure it. And if the people of Venezuela are okay with this, meaning they're not going to go grab their weapons that they got buried out in the jungle and start, guerrilla style tactics, then it's going to be all right. So passport bros, go down. Venezuela has the most beautiful women in the Americas, bro. That's not my opinion. Just watch any of those competitions. That's what Venezuela was known for: beautiful women, winning Miss World, Miss Universe, all that kind of stuff. Just known for it. And people are like, have you ever gone to Venezuela? No. Venezuela has always been dangerous. When it was considered stable, it was dangerous. Venezuela, it was lethal. That was like, nah, I ain't going. Have I dealt with Venezuelans? Yes. Right? Yes, I have. Have I seen some, beautiful Venezuelan women? Yes, I have. But not in that country. So it looks like America's going to go down there and they're like, yo, we here to stay. Crazy.
That our oil companies are going to exploit the resources in Venezuela. Talked about how we are going to rebuild Venezuelan infrastructure. So wanted to go ahead and bring you a series of these clips. Our friend from JobSite may be joining us as well at some point if he's able. But let me go ahead and pull up these first couple where he is talking about how we are going to run Venezuela. Take a listen.
We're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place.
And in case you didn't think that, in case you thought, oh, maybe he's just speaking off the cuff, he doesn't really mean it. Now, here he is repeating the same thing even more clearly, that we are going to run the country until some sort of power transition occurs. Here you go.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Oh,
wow. So when I hear something like that, that's telling me at least 3 years. Donald Trump and the Trump administration is going to run Venezuela for at least 3 years, bro, until the end of his term. And then once he's out of office, the next president, which is more likely going to be a Democrat, the way this pans out and the rest of his administration pans out is going to let us know, where the Democrats stand. But if the election were tomorrow, Democrats would absolutely take the White House. We're going to see this midterm, but sounds to me like Trump has no plans on leaving Venezuela. So yeah, you're going to have to put boots on the ground. You're going to have to put military bases on the ground. And like, it's like Mandrill was saying, this ain't new. This ain't new. The Green Berets been down there since at least 2007. I know SF was running missions in and out of Venezuela when I was in the Army, and that was back, like I said, the early 90s, from 90 to 94. I know the dudes down there, we would talk about it. Like, yeah, doing these missions, off the book missions, taking sneaks and peeks down into Venezuela all the time. So, I mean, it is what it is. This thing with Stephen Miller wanting to send back 600,000 Venezuelans. Bro, let's say that this thing goes the way that, Trump and his administration wants it to go. The people of Venezuela are like, hooray, we got our country back, kind of. And the Americans are there and they're like, yeah, we want capitalism. And all the companies start going down there, start making money and all this, pumping oil like crazy. Jobs come back, their inflation goes down, right? And everyone's happy. If 600,000 Venezuelans leave America over the next, 24 months, 2 years or whatever, 18 to 24 months, that's the one, what that's going to do here in America? Because 600,000 Venezuelans here, bro, they all work. They all working. And they're doing jobs that Americans ain't trying to do. So that won't necessarily be a good thing. In fact, they'll probably try to, now they got the gates, they got the wall up, so to speak, down at the border. They probably try to keep them in, like, don't leave yet. We need somebody to pick strawberries. We need somebody to hang drywall. We need somebody to cut the grass, because Americans ain't doing that. And AI ain't capable of doing that yet. So that manual labor, and, those Venezuelans were working for minimum wage or less. So if they leave and all those jobs become available, Americans are going to want more money to do those same jobs. So that could be a problem.
What does this actually mean? No one really knows. He was asked a series of questions about, okay, who? What are we talking about? Who is going to be, are there going to be boots on the ground? What is this going to look like? Not a lot of answers were forthcoming. However, he did seem to indicate basically Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and the U.S. military are effectively going to be in charge of running Venezuela for the immediate future. Also, it's possible we still have assets on the ground there. I don't think that any of that is really clear. But here's what he had to say in response to the question of, like, okay, what do you mean we are going to be running Venezuela?
Country, are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
That's King Trump setting up his next gig. I honestly don't think that Trump's going to make it through this administration without suffering some sort of major medical event. His speech is off, man. Brother Dino, you're right. Maybe he did have a stroke at some point or whatever. Maybe he's dealing with some stuff. But let's say that Trump gets through the next 3 years. His term is over. What's his next move going to be? People keep saying he ain't going to leave the White House. Yes, he is. He just set up a whole nice little country for himself, Venezuela. Go down there and be the king, baron, duke, you know what I mean, of Venezuela and sit down there as long as he wants to sit down there, so long as the next president is a Republican. Wouldn't it be funny if Trump went down there and installed himself as the leader of Venezuela, and then America came and snatched him up, him and Melania, out of the middle of the night and brought them back to America to stay in charges? Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time. The people that are standing right behind me, we're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead. I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country.
So people standing behind him being Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and military leader General Kane Raising Kane was there as well. So that seems to be who he is indicating would, quote unquote, run the country. There was also a question that was asked about, well, right now, Maduro's vice president has been sworn in as president. She is in charge. Like, you kidnapped Maduro, but his vice president and the rest of his administration is still there. And
they got a government. They have a government. They have a military. And now they're really on guard. Like, okay, what's going to happen? Again, this boils down to the Venezuelan people. To the Venezuelan people. We got Dr. B in the building. What's good, fam? So you snatched the president. So what? They got a whole government, vice president. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they got other offices under, you know what I mean? Like, they know what to do. Something happens. The next person steps up. So I guess the Trump administration just betting that the Venezuelan people are going to bow down. They might. But here's the thing. You're going to have to remove that government. You just can't. We got Maduro and his wife. So what? You got to. Now, what are you going to do with the rest of the government? Because they still have the military. Unless the CIA has already infiltrated their military and the CIA is already set to have a coup, there's going to be like a coup, a coup d'etat that pops off in Venezuela to oust the rest of Maduro's government and usher in the new puppet government, the new lady that Brother Mandrell was just telling us about, backed by Marco Rubio and the Raising Kane, whoever that general is. That was a general, by the way, that I heard threaten people from the mic. And then our Secretary of Defense or War, wherever they come. Trump knows that he can only trust a couple people. And I'm pretty sure that the lawyers are saying the same thing to Trump and his people, like, this is illegal, this is unconstitutional, this is illegal, this is unconstitutional. I'm sure that's all they're saying, like, hey, you can't do this. Bro, and what's Congress going to do? Congress does nothing anyway, but what are they going to say? I'm curious.
Still in charge of the country. So what's going on with that? And he seemed to indicate that Marco Rubio had spoken with her and that she was open to working with the U.S. and serving effectively as our puppet or easing the transition or something of that nature. Let me go ahead and pull this one up for you because this is a significant piece. Let's see. Here's the one.
Weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned
By the way, at another point, he was asked about Machado, who was just given the Nobel Peace Prize, unbelievably, and who was seen as a potential puppet leader. And he poured a lot of cold water on the idea, saying she didn't have support of the people. So now he's going to be asked about the vice president who is currently in charge.
Vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well,
going?
I understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Oh, Jesus. And Maduro said he was willing to do whatever Trump wanted. So, again, why Maduro? What's going on? Probably because Marco Rubio has a hard on for the guy. Why is our Secretary of State getting all mixed up in this thing? It's not a military mission. It's supposed to be a legal thing. Our government's all over this. This sounds like the Venezuelan government doesn't want to fight. But again, what do the people want? This is crazy.
So, indicating that she's willing to collaborate with the Trump regime, with Marco Rubio and Hegseth and whoever else we're going to install there as transitional rulers of this country.
Right.
I don't even know what to say, guys. I mean, this is actually even more insane than Iraq. And if you thought it was some kind of a weird leftist conspiracy theory that what we're really after is the oil, Trump talked about that quite explicitly as well, which is not a new thing. I mean, he and other administration officials and other Trump allies have been talking about the oil resources as a major motivator for this illegal offensive war. And he spoke to that as well. He talked about how our oil companies are going to go in and they're going to spend billions of dollars and they're going to make all kinds of money here. So let's get.
Bro, before she plays this, man, here's my take on it. If we're gonna send American boys and girls down to just take countries that's completely illegal, like we're not at war with, there's no real clear legal reason for taking over the government. If you say this man was running a drug cartel, you removed him, okay, fine. Why you want to go in and gut out the whole government? That don't make any sense. My thing is this: if you're gonna use our military, that military that belongs to the people of the United States, you know what I mean, it's run by and staffed by or whatever, by American heroes, we're going to take this nation that's rich in oil, they're sitting on trillions of dollars in oil, you know, hundreds of trillions, however much money, you know, who knows how much money and dead dinosaur they're sitting on top of. Instead of giving all that money to American corporations, how about giving the kickback to every American? I'm thinking $3,000 a month. Every single American should get $3,000. If we just gonna start taking countries and pillaging, just taking what we want, taking the riches, bro, split it up. Let's $3,000 for everybody, bro. It's about $1 trillion a year. That's how I look at it. If we're gonna do this, if we're gonna become pirates for real, let everybody share in the booty. $3,000 to every American. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, once a year, that's $1 trillion a year. I think it should be $3,000 a month. And we just got to figure out how we're going to take all that money from all over the world. But I mean, if we're going to be gangster with it, you might as well be gangster with it, bro. If you want to lock down the world and make somebody pay. But what's going to happen, what always happens, that money goes straight to the top. So the American companies and all these people going down here, they're going to make these investments. They're going to do whatever it is they do. And they're going to get all this money. And it's not even going to get taxed. Watch. They're not going to tax it. It'll barely get taxed, if they get taxed at all. And all that money, again, it just widens that gap between the have-nots and the have-yachts. And pretty soon it's going to be the have-nots and the have-spaceships. This doesn't make any sense. If you're going to do stuff like that, man, you're going to send the average American kid off to some faraway land to do America's business, which today seems to be, we're just going to pillage. If that's what we're doing, well, damn, give them a cut. Give everybody a cut. You know what I mean? Like, look at scams. Like, you asking takers to give you something, bro. This is a slippery slope. This is bad, guys. This is bad. But let's listen to the oil thing. And Trump ain't shy, man. He's gonna say, "Yeah, we want to take that money. That oil's ours."
Go ahead and take a listen to what he said about the oil companies and how they will profit from this action.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And
he was asked at one point also about how China and Russia would feel about this, given that they have interests in Venezuela. And he said, "Oh, well, we'll sell them oil. I think it'll be fine. No problem. He was also asked about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and indicated that he was frustrated with Putin. But that's where we are. Trump has said, we are running Venezuela. So this was a direct regime change operation, that we may well have boots on the ground, that this could last for years, that we are going to rebuild Venezuela's infrastructure and quote unquote, make Venezuela great again, that we may take similar actions in other countries in the region, specifically Cuba and Colombia, he spoke about, which no one should be surprised about, since not only is this about seizing the resources and exploiting the resources of Venezuela, this is also a, frankly, multi-decade project to destroy any sort of left-wing government in the region, and Venezuela being a key part of that fantasy, which is now becoming reality, with Marco Rubio there as Secretary of State. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, they were saying that Rubio's father was like really big on that push to just, wipe away the leftists, as Crystal put it. And bro, Cuba might be next, man. And I mean, it might be. If Rubio is there, like, oh, look how easy this was, it'll be so easy to sell Trump on it. And I think a lot of it hinges on the press, and it hinges on Trump supporters and how they feel about it. Remember, Trump ran on being the peace president, right? This dude was like, no more wars. This is a war. I mean, this is an invasion. It is what it is. And again, all this hinges on the people of Venezuela. If they are cool with this, they want the companies to come in, which they probably will be. Like, let's keep it 100. Like, life in Venezuela is really tough. So if you can bring it to where there are jobs, there's money, there's infrastructure now, there's stable electricity, you got hot and cold water, you got cold and hot, I should say, running water. You can educate your kids, you can feed your family and bring safety and stability to the streets. I'm pretty sure the people of Venezuela are all in on that. That's probably what's going to be sold to them. And I think they'll be okay with it. But if they're not, if they're like, nope, this is Venezuela, we don't want no gringos, and they pick up some AKs and start letting it go, then it's going to turn into something else. Right? And then again, you're looking at Cuba. Oh man, I don't know, bro. Colombia, we've been cool with Colombia forever. Like, okay, you don't have to get rid of your president because Trump says so. Man, this is this is new. This is new for America. Like, this is, like Casual German saying, man, this really is colonialism, 100%. And yes, I mean, the corporate aspect to this is not going to be publicized, but if you dig, and you're not going to have to dig deep, you're going to see there's people ready to make moves. If you really want to find out, like, watch what companies are like getting tons of investments on Wall Street when the market opens up on Monday. Wait and see where the money goes. Who's investing in, like, Exxon Mobil and all that. I don't even know who owns Exxon, but whatever oil companies and whatnot, and who's going to go down there, and how much American money is going to be spent, rebuilding Venezuela when America is jacked up. It's so much money about to move and move so fast. I think it's just going to blind everybody. Billions are going to be made. Hundreds of billions of dollars are going to be made by private entities, corporations, and individuals. Watch. This is crazy. This is crazy. And the Cubans here in America, bro, they want to go back to Cuba. They want Cuba. So it might happen, man. Like, I don't know. I could ask my Cuban friends, hey, would you guys want to see something like this? My one friend already said, like, yeah, he wants to see that in Colombia. That's before I even knew about this news. They threatened Colombia. And, the Cubans, I'm pretty sure the Cubans will want to do that. And then, again, corporations will go down there, set it up, be casinos everywhere. They'll buy all the beaches away from the Cubans. They'll wind up, with a little bit, but they still won't have, well, I guess they'll have more than they have now. But I don't know, man. This shit's crazy.
Jose Luis Granado Ceja has joined now from Drop Site. Let me go ahead and let him into the room and we can get his reaction as well. Jose Luis, great to have you again. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I played some of the clips of Trump saying we're going to run Venezuela, seeming to indicate specifically like Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth, apparently, saying we may have boots on the ground, saying that this could last years, saying also that that Rubio had reached out to the vice president, Maduro's vice president, who has now been sworn in as president of the country, and that she seemed open to some sort of collaboration. I mean, what is your reaction to all of this?
The first one is quite a surprise there. I had speculated earlier that they would use this as an opportunity to kind of move away from this engagement with Venezuela to finally put an end to this most recent round of escalations. But those words from Trump in this press conference, I think, are very, very clear. They intend to occupy the country of Venezuela. That's obviously going to require a huge mobilization of troops. I think Trump is being deliberately vague or even misleading in his responses, suggesting that it wouldn't take a lot, that it's just about protecting oil infrastructure. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I think they're in for a conundrum. The Venezuelan armed forces have talked about Venezuela becoming a new Vietnam for the United States if they chose to invade. If they're going to do what Trump just said in his press conference, to try to administer the country as an occupying power, it's going to require an amount of U.S. forces. This is going to be a very serious, major U.S. operation right here in the Western Hemisphere. I imagine his comments around oil are a bit of an echo of their strategy that they've used in Iraq and in Syria to try to take control of the oil fields directly. But these are not similar situations when we think about Venezuela. Like I said earlier, Venezuela is a country that has undergone a very long political process. And even if there are elements of the existing state that maybe break away or align themselves with the U.S. administration occupation, which I find hard to believe, given that essentially you're a traitor to your homeland, there's still going to be guerrilla struggles, sabotage. This is not going to be an easy ride whatsoever. I think the United States and the people of the United States need to be aware of what he's actually talking about. A very serious military mobilization to occupy a sizable country, far larger than what we saw in Panama. There's been some military analysts speculating that at least 100,000 troops, at least, to be able to try to actually invade and occupy Venezuela. And of course, it's going to be a huge conundrum for them because it won't be easy.
I mean, is this just cope on my part? Is it possible this is just some sort of a weird, chess move, threat, bluster kind of a situation? Because, I mean, and do we know, are there assets on the ground right now that have remained in country? Do we have any sense of that right now?
It doesn't appear that there are U.S. troops on the ground right now. He talked about in the past tense, there were boots on the ground in order to carry out this kidnapping of President Nicolás Maduro. But we do know that there are at least 20,000 troops nearby, either in Puerto Rico or in all the ships that are stationed off the coast. So I don't think that's enough to invade the country, but that is a sizable amount of manpower there that could easily be mobilized and used as part of another invasion. Trump talked specifically about a second round of attacks, that they were actually prepared for a second one, that they actually didn't carry it out, but they were willing to do it, that they're willing to kidnap any Venezuelan leader who rises to fill the power vacuum, we could say, that is the situation right now, given that we now know that Nicolás Maduro is indeed in U.S. custody aboard the Iwo Jima. Trump also said that he would be sent to New York to face these federal indictments. So that means...
So yeah, dude's in New York right now, bro. He's been held in the same jail that old boy was that Luigi Mangione or whatever his name is. He's in that jail, which I think Puffy was in there at one point. Like, that's where he is, man. He's in New York. President of country, yesterday, prisoner, he's in jail with a number today. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? What's good, fam? We got Life of Cash in the building, man. What's up? Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we just, we're gonna just sit here and chop it up, man. Like, this is unprecedented, man. I'm no serious history buff. Like, I don't have any degrees or anything like that, but I do study war. World War I, World War II, and then all the conflicts after, Korea, Vietnam, Honduras, Panama, the Gulf War that I was in. I kind of keep my own stuff. America's never done it this way. We've never done it this way. It's never been so overt. Like we did things and had, like, you look at the Gulf War, there was supposed to be weapons of mass destruction and all that, and they went and got a coalition of countries, and it wasn't just the US. And that's how America would normally do it. We're gonna get a coalition of countries, even if it was just some BS countries, like Micronesia signing on or whatever. But this is the first time that I can think of in modern times that America just went. Well, I guess, Panama, we didn't have anyone with us, and in Grenada, yeah, we didn't. It was just us, but it was Americans there. Like, there were American students in one case, and then they wanted to get rid of a President Noriega in Panama. There were some Americans there as well that had been held, that they wanted to get out of there. But so I guess it's not unprecedented. We have gone in by ourselves on stuff, but damn, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. And guys, we're gonna do a show about AI. Hopefully within the first quarter of 2026. Life of Casual, he's all on that. And bro, there's so much going on with AI and what's going on with the implementation of AI and the different types of AI. And our community needs an opportunity to see how you can make some moves. You can see, plans, see what's coming, and try to ride that wave, because our community always seems to be the last to jump onto something, and we never really take full advantage of it. Let's not do that with artificial intelligence. So I'm gonna work it out with Brother Life of Cash, and we're gonna talk about that soon. It's gonna be a good conversation, guys. I promise you, bro. So let's continue.
That obviously there has to be, at least for the time being, some kind of transition inside of Venezuela, given that the president cannot rule if he's detained. It looks like that's going to be Delcy Rodriguez, the executive vice president. But it's very, very odd comments from him saying that she's essentially going to play along, which is very surprising with people who are familiar with Venezuelan politics. Delcy Rodriguez is a very powerful figure inside of Venezuela, a close ally, a confidant of Maduro. There's a reason why she was named directly by him. The vice president is not elected in Venezuela to be the executive vice president. That she would allow herself to this, to lend herself to this, I don't find very credible.
So you're skeptical of that aspect?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And not to mention,
I mean, who knows what she may have said on the phone to Marco Rubio in the moment versus what the
maybe
actual
to avoid another strike on
are.
her location, because it's clear that they do have some intelligence in terms of where people are moving. Trump even mentioned that they had images of Maduro making it to the door of his safe room, but unable to actually be able to seal himself in. I mean, this is pretty serious in terms of what we're talking about. What the amount of forces, the amount of resources that the U.S. appears to have used in this operation, quite well could have been her just trying to protect herself, to try to ensure that there is a succession. I don't think that she's going to play U.S. imperialism's game. Not to mention the fact that she has been on the air all day talking about the need to resist this. So I don't think that's the case. But even if she did.
And like I said, it's going to boil down to the people of Venezuela. I was thinking about Venezuela and their region and their neighbors. I'm like, bro, they ain't messing with nobody. The only people really suffering are the Venezuelans. But you bring up a really good point, Brother Dino. And I thought about that too. I'm like, well, there was the thing in Guyana, and it got to the point where they were posturing, a lot of saber rattling, like, okay, maybe these two countries about to go at it. But then I stopped following that story. And of course, it never came to be. But when you look at the region, bro, the Venezuelans really wasn't messing with nobody, man, with the exception of Guyana. And so who knows, bro? Trump and his people going to go down there, and they're going to carpet bag like crazy, man, like crazy. Let's listen to a little bit more of this, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Good. She would be pushed out by the revolutionary forces. No one inside of Venezuela is going to tolerate anybody who's going to be a traitor to their homeland. And someone else would rise to fill her shoes if that is the case. So it's a very unpredictable, unstable situation as of now, and really, really quite surprising. But I will say, I think the point what I want to emphasize is that what Trump is talking about is a large-scale military operation or mission in South America. I guess, I heard that one of the reporters asked, how is this America first? I mean, it's apparently that phrase can be used for anything, because in no way is this America first. This is another U.S. military adventure without a clear outcome in terms of how they're actually going to be able to get out of this.
Let me play a little bit of this where Trump is talking about the Monroe
let's listen to this.
Doctrine, and they now call it the Monroe Doctrine. American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Let's listen to this.
All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen.
What do you make of those comments? And it's consistent with some of the things that have been laid out in his national security strategy previously.
Listening to him talk, I'm not sure he actually understands what the Monroe Doctrine was or how it could be applied in 2026. The Monroe Doctrine was a policy of the United States that was aimed at Europe, above all, to dissuade them from engaging in any type of colonization or recolonization here in the Western Hemisphere. He seems to understand it as the United States can do whatever it wants in the Western Hemisphere, that this is its exclusive sphere of influence. Obviously, in practice, that is what the Monroe Doctrine ultimately became, but that's not really what it was intended as. And certainly, even if we accept the principles behind the Monroe Doctrine, what the United States did is not about, containing the influence of foreign powers inside of the Western Hemisphere. This is U.S. military adventurism. It's the U.S. imperialist policy of imposing its will on countries through might. It's interesting. We heard comments there from U.S. officials about how peace through strength. There's nothing peaceful about what just happened. This is a very violent act. There's already reports of casualties as a result. And of course, the kidnapping of a sitting president is just absolutely extraordinarily violent act. And so this is not peace whatsoever. And I hope that there's pushback from U.S. policymakers, from lawmakers, from the U.S. public around this. That's not what's happening here. The U.S., once again, has reminded us, because this is something that the peoples of Latin America are very much aware of, that they are willing to engage in these kinds of illegal actions to impose its will. And like I said in the other segment that we talked about, I hope this is a wake-up call, because we really have to understand who we're dealing with here. And there's already, as I mentioned earlier, there's already him talking about something similar in Mexico. He was asked directly about this. And this is the problem, is that this could lead to a sort of domino effect where the U.S. says, look what we're willing to do. You want us to do that to you? Do exactly as we say.
Let me go ahead and...
Damn. I'm going to leave it there, guys. The link to this episode of Breaking Points is in the description below if you guys want to go check the rest of it out. I'm going to watch the rest of it myself. Bro, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. I mean, at the beginning of Trump's term, there was a lot of talk about Mexico want to go after the drug cartels and this and that. But the Mexican government was like, nah, we're not doing that. And Sheinbaum's like, no. So with this strike in Venezuela, is the Trump administration going to be so bold as to just conduct operations in Mexico without approval and permission from the Mexican government? That's a big question. And again, if they do, that's an act of war, right? And Mexico's our ally on our southern border. Where does that leave the rest of our allies? If America goes around just deboing countries and snatching folks up out of their own countries, what's the rest of the world going to do? Like, oh, what you doing? You can't do that. Will the rest of the world want to stand up against America and do something? What's China going to do? Like, again, if you're going to snatch somebody up, man, start with Putin. At least you'll have the rest of the world on your side. Like, all right, yeah, Putin had to go. And then, the other bad guys are like, whoa, they went after, Russia. Venezuela? Are you talking crazy about Colombia and Cuba, Mexico? Bro, this could be a problem. And again, we don't know where this is going to end, or how this is going to end, or what is this going to look like tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Again, this all rides with the people of Venezuela. If the people of Venezuela are cool with this, then all right, chalk it up as a win for the Trump administration. If the people of Venezuela don't like this for whatever reason, and they decide to rise up at some point, and we start getting reports and pictures of U.S. service members coming home with flags over their box, you know what I'm saying? Flags over, flag draped coffins. And that's definitely going to be a serious loss for Trump on many fronts. I'm not sure. I haven't read anything. I'm not sure where MAGA stands on this. I know the young people in MAGA don't like war, so they're going to be against this. But everyone likes a winner. And technically, at this point right now, I'm not going to say he won the whole thing, but he's up. You know what I mean? I was straight out the gate, bro. That's a couple touchdowns right there. Like, we're up big. But we just don't know how this is going to play out. So this is crazy. Putin definitely would have been a better call. And that is his homeboy. You're right about that. Allegedly, they're homeboys, but he ain't too happy with him right now. Yeah, it could be why he sounded weird. I think Trump has got some serious health issues, bro. Again, I don't think he's going to make it to the end of his term, which leaves J.D. Vance, commander-in-chief. What would that look like? This is just all kind of crazy. And Brother Dino is dropping some real gems in the chat, guys. If y'all ain't reading what he put, if y'all ain't, picking up what he's putting down in the chat, bro, you're missing out. He's putting some gems down there showing you about the money, who wants the money, who's making moves. And it's funny that all these corporations seem to have known what was going on. So y'all know Trump can't keep any secrets. So he was telling his buddies, like, we about to do this. It's going to happen. I don't know. Trump can't tell him when it's going to happen because the military don't tell Trump until after the fact. But Trump's like, oh, it's coming. So his homeboys are getting their money ready and they're getting set. Like, all right, boom, let's go in here and get this. And we're going to hear about Guyana. We're going to hear about that. That oil and that situation is going to come up as well. And America is supposed to fund all this. Like, bro, where is the debt right now? Where is the debt right now? Let's pull up the debt clock, bro. I mean, for real. Like, where is the debt? Let's have a look at this. See if we can't pull this up. There it is. Uh-oh. I don't want to. Great silver breakout. Man, you can't even look at the debt clock without people putting advertisements on there, man. Damn it. I was trying to look at the debt clock, guys, and here it is. I'll use this one. This is a good one. I'll use this one. So let me pull up this debt clock and then we'll just wrap it up. 1 second, guys. There it is right there, man. There it is. There's the national debt. 38.5 trillion and growing. That's basically $114,967 owed per citizen. Per citizen. Look at that clock. That's how much money we owe right now. And we're talking about occupying a country, possibly invading 2 more countries, maybe 3. Right? Where is all this money gonna come from? Where's all this money gonna come from, guys? I mean, this is unsustainable. First of all, it is what it is. Sheesh is right. There it is, right there. There it is. That's the debt clock. And it's going to continue to grow. Right? It's going to continue to grow because we're not doing anything about it. Right? We still got, think about it. They didn't pass the subsidies for like the Affordable Care Act stuff. So people are going to be spending more on their health care. A lot of people are going to drop their health care. Record number of repossessions. The housing market getting shaky. Down here in Florida, especially, like it's something going on down here. Foreclosures are up. Layoffs are up. This is not a great time for America, and we are doing this. We can't afford this. So we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. We're paying $1.3 trillion in interest alone. The debt grows by $8.5 billion daily, every 24 hours. 133% debt to GDP ratio, bro. This ain't never getting paid back. This ain't never getting paid back, bro. Right. And the tariff stuff is illegal. Judges are talking about making them pay back the tariffs, and they can't figure that out. Man, it's all crazy right now, but we're gonna leave it there. I want to leave the debt clock up here, guys. We're gonna leave it there. Craziness, man. Craziness, man. I really appreciate y'all checking me out, man. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. Leave comments like you always do. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking out with me. I am going to try my best to do at least one live a week, but you are going to see more edited content on this platform. I'm working on something right now. I want to do a series of history-oriented videos about American warriors, Black American warriors. The first video I'm working on is going to be on the triple nickel. If you don't know who they are, don't worry about it. You're going to know pretty soon because I'm going to put it up. Got the script done and everything. Man, I'm just getting the pictures together. I'm hoping it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to talk about it. The triple nickel, the 555th Parachute Infantry Regiment, the first African American airborne unit in the United States military. Going to tell you all about it. Be looking for that. Appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I will see y'all soon. I got to go. I'm out of here. Have a good night. Try not to get invaded. Hopefully America won't come kidnap you, but no promises. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. We really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.